spread lies about me at work, so I sent his wife the screenshots that ended his marriage. My ex Brandon worked at the same company as me, but in a different department. We dated for like 8 months before I found out he was married. Yeah, married. He wore no ring and told everyone he was single. I only found out when his wife Jessica showed up at the office Christmas party looking for him. The breakup was messy. I felt like such an idiot, but I figured we could at least be professional at work since we barely saw each other anyway. Wrong. About 2 weeks after we broke up, I started noticing people acting weird around me. My coworker Emma pulled me aside during lunch and asked if I was okay. Apparently Brandon had been telling people I was stalking him, that I kept texting him nonstop and wouldn't leave him alone. Complete lies. Then it got worse. He told our boss I'd been drinking at work and that I'd threatened him in the parking garage. None of this was true, but suddenly I'm getting called into HR meetings and my boss is treating me like I'm unstable. I was so stressed I could barely sleep. The breaking point was when I overheard 2 guys from accounting laughing about how I supposedly keyed Brandon's car and slashed his tires. I never touched his stupid car, but everyone believed him because he seemed so calm and reasonable while I looked like a wreck from all the stress. That's when I remembered something. Back when we were dating, Brandon used to screenshot conversations with his wife and send them to me. He thought it was funny how she'd beg him to come home early or ask where he was. He'd make fun of her for being clingy and paranoid. I thought it was cruel, but I was too wrapped up in the relationship to say anything. I still had those screenshots on my phone, dozens of them. Messages where he called her pathetic and crazy, texts where he lied about working late when he was actually with me, photos he'd taken of her crying after fights that he'd captioned with laughing emojis. So I made a fake Instagram account and found Jessica. She had her DMs open. I sent her everything. Every screenshot, every photo, every cruel comment he'd made about her. I explained who I was and what had been happening at work. I told her about all the other women he'd mentioned hooking up with. The next Monday, Brandon didn't show up to work. Tuesday either. Wednesday, he came in looking like he hadn't slept in days. His wedding ring was gone. He avoided me completely, but I could see him having intense phone conversations in conference rooms. By Friday, the whole office knew he was getting divorced. Jessica had apparently shown up at his apartment with divorce papers, and half the building heard her screaming at him. She'd also called his mom and told her everything. The best part? Jessica worked in HR at another company, and she knew exactly how to document workplace harassment. She'd started building a case against Brandon for what he'd done to me. Turns out the screenshots I sent her proved he'd been lying about everything. Brandon got written up for spreading false information about a coworker and creating a hostile work environment. He had to publicly apologize to me in front of our whole department. His face was bright red the entire time. He quit 2 weeks later. Probably couldn't handle everyone knowing what kind of person he really was.